Hello everybody, Road Warrior 627 here, and welcome back to another Thoroughbred Racing preview here on my channel. And it's been a while. It's December 3rd, 2021. My last video was at the beginning of August. My last preview was for July 4th weekend. Long time ago. A lot of things have gotten in the way, some good, some not so good. I'm still very active on Twitter, though, of course, because who isn't active on Twitter these days? But my ambition to do YouTube has been essentially zero. This video is spur of the moment. I'm going to Aqueduct tomorrow, mainly because my friend Jack, the founder of Racing Rundown, a good horse racing podcast out there, and YouTube channel, he's going. So I'm going to go see him, and also there's some good horses running tomorrow at Aqueduct. So what I figured I'd do is, for the last video of the year, because that's what this is going to be, I don't have any plans to do anything else on the channel this year. For the last one, spur of the moment, 10 minutes, let's go through this card at Aqueduct. I haven't gotten to look at it that much, but I do have some rough ideas from my first time going through. I'm going to have to refine these before I do more. I'm not really happy betting NYRA right now because of some of the shady stuff I've seen lately. One thing just happened this week with that third place photo. But right now I signed up for a new ADW, so I'm essentially playing with house money. I'm not really losing anything, so that's why I'm going to go. Alright, so let's take a look and go through these quickly. I'm just going to tell you my ideas. You know I'm a bit of a long shot player. I don't really care about the favorites that much. They beat me, they beat me. I'm not going to key in around them. I'm not a multi-race player by any means in terms of past the double. So it's really all about value for me. If you haven't listened to the channel before, that's what you need to know. So, first race, we've got 7 furlongs, $80,000 maiden for 2-year-olds. And the horses I'm interested in, number 1, Script, second time starter for Graham Motion. Number 3 will be my top pick, Opportunity Set, Klarovich and Chad Brown. Obviously, very good connections. I've made good profits with them over the years. Chad's the man, as much as he pisses me off sometimes. And the 4 for Rob Atras, also a first-time starter with Kendrick. Not that I love anything in the workout pattern here. It's just that Rob Atras is pretty damn hot right now, so I can't leave him out. And also the firster angle. It's hard to throw out any firsters from my perspective if you don't have a strong opinion. McGahee usually gives his horses a race, and the Todd Pletcher I'm simply trying to beat. So those are the other two contenders, the 6 and the 7, that I'm trying to really stay away from, as well as Asmussen with the 2 Fenwick. I'll let him beat me too. 5-2 with him and Lizcano, especially for a horse that didn't win first time out for Asmussen. Not loving that. He usually gets him ready to go. Race number 2, mile and the 16th on the inner, $70,000. 2-year-old fillies. Chad again here, number 3, can obviously win, but I need to go try and find somebody else that's a better price. Albeit in this race, I'm not going with someone that's that much of a bigger price, and that'll be the 4 Autumn Glory, Christophe, Clement, Dylan Davis. They have been an absolutely fantastic team this year. Ever since Christophe started using him, it's been real magic. And that's who I'm going with here. And I think with the other connections in here, it might actually elevate his price up a little bit. Another horse I'm interested in would be the 5, again, Rob Atras. This is a surface switch on Regal Rebel, going from a 6.5 furlong sprint, practically giving him a race, now getting him on the turf. Motion's horse, the 8, Sweet Lies, does the same thing, and I'm also willing to give her a chance. And then we've also got my man Dave Donk, who did run on the turf with the 6, She's a Natural, October 16th at Belmont. Ran not so good, but this time stretches out, and Donk, just like some of these other guys, like Mott, likes to give horses a race. Graham Motion does the same thing sometimes too, so we'll have to see. They're not like Chad and Clement in the sense that they try and win first time out all the time. Let's move on to race number 3. We've got ourselves another really good race here. Allowance optional claimers, 6 furlongs on the outer turf for 3-year-olds and up, and I found this to be kind of a logical race. I really do like the two makers, the 8 and the 9, Artemis City Limits, who's always right up there in the money, and then we've got Cucina, the 9. Also, Mike Makers finished second the last couple of times with pretty decent efforts. And those both on the West Coast. We have had a bit of a connection change there. Maker actually ran that horse right before the Breeders' Cup over at Del Mar, and now brings this horse back to the East Coast. So they're pretty short. They're obviously good contenders. The 5, Scuttlebuzz, also Rudy Rodriguez. This horse ran good last time. Ran good pretty much the last 3 starts. That $92,000 allowance 2 back, I think, was a bit of a better effort than it showed. Competition was good, facing tournament events, going a little bit further than what he likes to do and try and get a quick pace to close into here. There have been a few quick paces with 6 furlongs on the outer here at Aqueduct, believe it or not, even though this is New York, the land of grabbing. One more horse that interests me is number 1, Guildsman with IRAD on the rail. He had a big fig at the Spa, 3 back. And Mr. Danger, IRAD, he almost killed Omar Hernandez Moreno today. But him getting on a bit of a price, obviously, that's a pretty good sign. First time that he has ridden this horse. All right, race number 4, we've got the old guys, the old professionals. I like to call it the race of the tough old SOBs. And that's what this one is, claiming $16,000 a mile on the main track for 3-year-olds and up. Bunch of horses you have to respect in here just because they show up time and time again. These are the horses that make you fall in love with racing. These cheap claimers just trying to run their hardest. The Atras horse, the 9, is a deserving lukewarm favorite. I don't have any strong opinions here. That doesn't mean I'm going to pick the 9. It means I'm just going to put a small amount of money in other places. If I do anything, I'd like to box the 4 and the 5 in here. Kumar and Cecilia Mike, who ran 3-2 in a race that I saw from the rail at Belmont. I think it was, 4 weeks ago. Yeah, Breeders' Cup Saturday. They both gave good accounts of themselves, as they often do. Other horses that are notable, Supreme Aura for George Weaver. Maybe I give a little bit of a look at, but I'm mainly going to look at the 4 and the 5 in here. Not too much going on as far as strong opinion, but if I want to do something quick, that's what I'll be doing. A total change in the 5th race. The 5th race is a mile and a 16th on the inner for 2-year-olds. This is the craziest race I've seen the entire meet at Aqueduct, bar none. Maiden race, you can't figure any of this stuff out. You look at numbers 1 through 8. Graham Motion, the Mad Genius Michael Dickinson, Chad Brown, Shug McGahee, Bill Mott again, Christophe Clement, Shug McGahee again. World class. Everybody. All the angles that I like to use about these trainers and stuff, they all of a sudden go flat when you have this many things going on in the same race. So what I'm going to have to do in here is I'm going to have to look for the values I always do, and unfortunately that means throwing out Bill Mott's horses, who have run good races. Between the two of them, they've run 3 good races, but I have to throw them out just for value's sake. I'm hoping Chad's horse doesn't take that much money, not so little that he's dead on the board, meaning he can't run at all, but something to just give me a sign that the horse can run, but not too much that drives the price totally down. That's the 3 market segmentation, which obviously from the name is Klarovich. I'm going to use the 7 as well for Christoph. This, I didn't love the first race at all by any means, and I certainly don't like that Rosario's staying on because I can't stand him. But if the pace does get a little contentious in here, which it actually could for a change, there's a couple long shots in here that might show some speed, maybe this horse gets a setup, especially with Space Launch, who hasn't been that good lately, winning the other day, which I was very happy to see. I'm also going to use the 1 for Graham Motion, who ran decent enough first time out sprinting, now gets to stretch out. and then we've got the 2 for Mike Dickinson rounding out my top 4. So this is a race that I'm actually keyed in on, and that would be 3, 7, 1, 2 is my order in the 5th. The 6th race, another pretty good one. I'm not as much in love with this one as the last one. Another race where you've got some logicals in here, like Pletcher's 2 with Saez. He's got post position 1 because there's a coupled entry. He can just go out there and steal this race. He has the class. He's the morning line favorite coming in, all that stuff. Well, let's try and find some other prices. Believe it or not, I'm not too disinterested in the 1-1A entry. Not because of the plain one who's almost guaranteed to run, but we also have the 1A Revindicated, who's also eligible. Now, this horse probably will not get in, but if the horse does get in, the first race wasn't that bad. And you've got this trainer, Rachel Kelfin. I'm totally butchering that name. But anyway, she's got 21 starts this year, and this is between the 1 and 1A. She trains both of them. 14%, 33% in the money. Not too bad to start off your career as a trainer. I'm assuming she's starting off. She's just, the numbers aren't there. Regardless, that's not too bad at 20 to 1 to just take a shot in the dark, especially in a race where I don't really love much. Hennig's first-time starter has a couple of nice works, even though he's not good, except for that one time that Volkert won a couple days before the Belmont this year with firsters on the turf. Bill Mott's too short in here. Urban Forest, I just have to try and stay away, even though I love Bill Mott. St. James, another firster for Leah Giamatti, who has shocked the world in the past, also has a couple nice works in the past. Jalen Samuel rides. If he gets a decent horse, he's not too bad. Maybe can hit the board. Just as taking a shot. And then also Kobe's Legacy, Chris Englehart, 6 furlongs on the turf, first time out. Chris Englehart will absolutely give his horses a race to start with, and then come running at a big price next time. Cancel stays on. Didn't look for somewhere else to go, which is a good sign. Now we get into the stakes action of the card, the 7th through the 10th, all graded stakes, all on the dirt, which I don't like because I'm a turf handicapper. That's what I like. I think there's a lot more money to be made on the turf, but we're going to take a look at these anyway, even though I don't love the races. The race number 7, the grade 3 go for 1, 250 grand, 1 mile, fillies and mares, 3 and up. I actually think the field here is not too bad, and according to Brisnet Prime Power, which I've been relying on less and less lately, but still I find it interesting, the field is not that far apart despite the 8-5 favorite, Lady Rocket, in here in a 7-horse field. Personally, I like Sharp Star on the outside, the 7, who sprang a big upset last time in the Empire Distaff at Belmont on New York Showcase Day. This horse is going to get a nice trip out in the clear, and the outside has been a pretty good place to be at Aqueduct throughout the fall meet. So I think this horse should get a good setup. Another horse I'm just going to throw in for the hell of it is On Her Way, the 5 for Charlie Baker, who on paper is the slowest horse in the field, but not by that much. And that kind of price on Her Way in a race where, let's be honest, there's 2 speeds down toward the inside. If they tire each other out, could set it up for a closer, and maybe you don't have to be the best closer to get the job done. Race number 8, we get into the two-year-old races now. Funny enough, the Colts are going first, and this is the REMSEN. I really don't have any opinion in this race at all, and I really had to dig deep to find one. And I found somebody I'm just going to put a few bucks on, and that's number 6, Eloquist, for Rob Reed, not a trainer that I usually bet. And then I look at the numbers, 26% this year, 61% in the money. But more importantly, out of a very big sample size, 17% from 118 shippers. Very, very good. The one thing is Pennington is not coming in, and he's ridden this horse the first 3 times, which that kind of makes me a little nervous. But this does pick up Dylan Davis, who in large part has been riding extremely well this year, definitely having the best year of his career. Zandon for Chad Brown, obviously, horse has potential off that maiden race. The other favorite in here, we've got Mo Donegal down toward the inside for Pletcher. Gets a good post, except for the fact that the inside has not necessarily been the place to be throughout the meet. The 9th race, the Grade 2 Demoiselle, the filly counterpart of the Remsen, obviously. Let's see who we've got here. Got to turn the page in my notes. Pletcher's got 2-1 on Neston here, the 5-horse. He also has 10-1 on the 1-horse Misinterpret, who, barring a track bias that has been a little bit consistent throughout this meet, gets a good post down toward the inside with Saez. If the bias is absent tomorrow, Saez can maybe use this horse's speed and give her her best chance. That's what Saez should absolutely do, especially on a horse that he's never ridden in the past. Definitely can change a horse's attitude. He's done that before. The 3 and the 4 in here, Jorge Abreu's horse and Bill Mott's horse, Venti Valentine and Nostalgic, respectively, have both put forth good efforts, winning all 3 of their combined races between the 2 of them. Particularly Bill Mott's horse, Nostalgic, ran very, very fast. 1:47 and 1. I don't care what the figure says, as long as that time is accurate, which it might not have been at Belmont. I think she came home pretty fast. I have to check on that, and you know what? Go watch the replay for yourself to make sure. Could have been beating up on nobody, but still, most Belmont horses do not win first time out, and it's even more rare that they win by 7 3/4 lengths. So that's good. Clement and Rudy are just too short in here. The 6 and the 7, the 2 who are breaking just outside of Nest, Tap the Faith and Magic Circle. Obviously, they're both trainers I like and bet often, but while the horses obviously have good figs, a lot of the other horses have figs that can compete, and at those short prices, I'm just not willing to just go down with them. And then finally, the 10th race, the Cigar Mile. This will be my second Cigar Mile ever seeing in person, and the 2 horses I like the most in this one are Following C down toward the inside. I know he's been more successful sprinting, obviously, than he was routing per se, but you know what? These one-turn miles often work out as more sprints, and I really like what Rosario did in the Vosburg by sending him out. Exactly what IRAD should have been doing on Firenze Fire, but IRAD a lot of times doesn't have a brain, so people take advantage of him. And it's funny enough, because I don't like Rosario either. So, 2 of my least favorite jockeys, one making a very good decision and one making a very poor decision. Also, Code of Honor. I know, I'm one of his biggest fans, but his figures in a couple of races this year are right up there. The race at Monmouth, obviously, against inferior competition, but his Woodward was not terrible. And the best race he ever ran, I think, was that Met Mile last year on the 4th of July. He should have won that race, absolutely, because of the incredible ground loss and against the track bias that day, way back. So I think him at a mile, I love that. I'm going to hope to see him get in the winner's circle for only the second time when I'm in the stands. Now, the big favorite in here is the 3 American Revolution. Obviously, if he runs that Empire Classic where he trounced the field, and obviously the public predicted him to do so, that is going to be, forget, nobody has a chance in here. Now, the thing is, that was over a sloppy track, and also, it was just against New York breds. This open company is a lot tougher. You've got Ginobili coming in from the West Coast. He's another class horse coming out of the dirt mile, running behind Of All Horses Life is Good, who, as Larry Coma says, is really, really good. Then we've got these 2 horses to the outside I just want to touch on before we finish, Olympiad and Pipeline. Olympiad actually has the lowest prime power number in the field, but just likes to show up in his races. has never run in a stakes race, but I love me some Bill Mott when he's got a price. I'm going to include him. And Pipeline. This is just a hunch. Pipeline is a little slow on paper, but so was Pattern Recognition a couple of years ago, except for his win in the Kelso beforehand. Every other race he ran was too slow to win the Cigar Mile. And guess what? He broke from the same post and won it for the same guy for a different owner. I think Pattern Recognition was Klarovich. Pipeline's a couple others, and it's not Peter Brandt. Independence Hall can obviously win. I just have never loved him. I've never fallen in love with him. His last race, he finally got the job done, but he did it against some horses at Keeneland that I don't love. I realized Codavana was in that race, but it was a sloppy track, and I just don't like any of that. So, especially at 7-2, no interest in this race. So I'm mainly going to be focusing on the 1 and the 4 with a little look at the 7 and 8 in the Cigar Mile. But that is it, everybody. Just a very quick synopsis of my ideas for tomorrow's Cigar Mile Day at the Big A at Aqueduct. My biggest regret about tomorrow is the Keep Calm Carry On. I don't know what he's doing. I wish he was running in the REMSEN, because that's a horse I was on from day one. I think he could be a very good distance horse as a 3-year-old, especially if he keeps developing. But good races tomorrow. Inflated parking rates if you're going to Aqueduct, which pisses me off just for one day. They used to charge $7 every day for general parking. Then they made it free this year, only for them to put it up for just one day, being tomorrow. Thanks, NYRA. We love you. Great display of sarcasm there by me. Thank you. Great job listening by you. And this will be the last video of the year. Thanks for listening to all my videos all year long. It means a lot. The Belmont video was incredibly special to me. It obviously was the most important video I ever made, and the fact that it's getting some pretty good attention makes me happy. I just wish NYRA would see it, but they probably wouldn't care anyway. So, whatever. Okay, but it has been the most successful year of my channel, bar none. Thank you all so very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in 2022. Pay your bills first, and may the odds be ever in your favor.